Yo, what's going on, everybody? Thank you all for tuning in. My name is Cody Vondell, and today we're kicking off the new year with a brand new series on the best free fonts for the 2000s Frutiger styles. Before we get started, just gotta say thank you all for your continued support. Throughout last year, we did 2 new music compilations. I released the Metro Breaks audio sample packs all summer. I released several new vector kits. End of the year with our little comedy skit. Make sure to check that out if you haven't already. Took a little bit of time away from the tutorials, but I'm back on screen and we're gonna rock it all 2025. Got a lot of fun tutorials, templates planned, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. We got some fun stuff on the way. Want to say I appreciate you being here. If you're following along with me on screen or using some of my design assets, make sure to hop on our Discord server. We have an amazing community over there of artists, musicians, producers, designers. Everyone's posting their works in progress, finished work, inspirations, archives, memes, everything you can imagine. If I haven't seen you over there, I hope to see you there soon. A huge thank you to all of my patrons. I greatly appreciate you. Over on my Patreon is where you will find exclusive drops and early access to new vectors and other raw media as I'm working on it. I don't do any kind of channel sponsors, so if you want to support what I do, make sure to hop on the Etsy. That's where you can pick up all the design kits that I use on screen, as well as merchandise like stickers, pins, patches, hats, shirts, and more. I also create all the music that you hear in the background of my videos, so if you like what you're hearing, just search Cody Vondell on your preferred streaming service, and you can also find me on SoundCloud or Bandcamp, where I have a royalty-free audio sample packs that you can use in your own original music. Speaking of music, we have a brand new compilation on the way, Vondell 2000 Mixtape Volume 4 and 5, Fire and Ice. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Everybody's back, the whole team's back. Number 3 was our biggest one yet, so 4 and 5, you best believe it's gonna be a double compilation. It's gonna be awesome if you wanna be on it. Deadline is February 21st for your art and music. I hope to see you on the compilation. So with all that being said, we are kicking off a brand new series today, the best 2000s Frutiger fonts. We're gonna cover all kinds of fun fonts that we were using back in the 2000s on our cover arts, show flyers, memes, and other early internet media. And it should be noted that none of the fonts that we are gonna be using are at all related to Arial Frutiger, the Swiss type designer that this aesthetic is named after. Very different style. Instead, we are going to be focused on free fonts with that nostalgic 2000s flair that you can easily find online. And as always, links to these free fonts will be in the description below. With all that being said, let's hop on screen and get started. All right, so here are the fonts we're going to be using today. We're going to play with 5 of them, starting off keeping it classic with Arial Black. So let's go ahead and plan out our words. We're going to say World Tour, playing with the kerning. That is the space between the letters, holding Option, using our arrow keys for that. And we're gonna do some type of like international skateboarding world tour, something like that. So let's go ahead and get that written out and maybe play around with the different fonts and like that. Let's go ahead and just say international and the skateboarding. We'll actually show that. Let's go ahead. We have this image here of this skater, just a stock photo. Let's go ahead and image trace. And we'll open up our image trace options and ignore white. Always do that just so that we get, you know, a nice kind of clean, almost looks like a, you know, stencil kind of look. We can play around with some of these, you know, threshold and the advanced kind of stuff. I don't think we really need to do that. We can just keep it as is. And let's go ahead, scale it down some and bring it over here with our design and drop it in. Still huge. So let's go ahead and bring it down a little bit. We might kind of just play around with these, you know, board sliding off the T or kind of right there on the tip of the T. I think that looks pretty cool. Scaling up a tiny bit. Nice. I like the placement overall. And at this point, I think maybe we could use some details. So let's hop into the latest Metro Grunge vector kit and pull some pieces out of that. So we can use this nice little grungy piece right here. Kind of turn down the opacity. Make sure it's the back layer. And then we'll start dropping in some other stuff too. Maybe a little city or something like that would look cool over here. And maybe some like little stars and stuff like that. I think that would give the whole Metro Grunge look that we're going for. And yeah, I think something like that's looking pretty cool to me. A little star up there. Let's get a few more of these little stars kind of just, you know, placed around there. A little something that we can kind of throw in. Maybe a little smaller and just kind of spread them out. And we'll have like the size kind of vary and the directions vary and different things like that too. So we're just kind of, you know, feeling it out. Just kind of filling in the space as needed. We'll bring a few more up here in the corner. And maybe we could use like one or two more. Let's drop one down here, and looking pretty good, I'd say, overall. All right, I like that placement, and I think at this point, maybe just a little extra little paint splatters, little things like that, to just kind of grunge it up a bit. That's kind of the style that we're going for, so let's just see how these little pieces fit in here. Scaling them down quite a bit. With vector graphics, you can do that. It doesn't matter if you're working real big or real small, it's going to look clean no matter what, because it's vector graphics. So I typically like to work a little bit smaller. So in this case, I think that looks pretty cool. All right, next piece. So this one I already designed, but we're just having it broken apart real quick so you can kind of see all the different pieces here and how they all fit together. They are all just various pieces from the latest kit, and how you can just essentially put them all back, and that's the illustration. So let's go ahead and start playing with the font that we're going to use. Let's capture it. We're going to say Scavenger and kind of have it down here beneath this illustration. I think ought to look pretty cool. I want to get it nice and centered, and just kind of playing out. We have two different fonts that we're looking at. Scavenger. I think it looks best in this one for this, and this other one we'll use Paradise. And we'll kind of give this like sort of, this is the Birth of a Hero font. This screams 2000s scene bands, something like that. So yeah, playing around with that kind of has that whole vibe. There's a whole lot of references to the 80s and 90s. In the 2000s, there was a lot of that nostalgia already kind of going on. Now we live full blown in nostalgia. So let's pull a few of these. These are from the Retro Metro kit. It's a separate kit. Came out right around the same time as the Metro Grunge Volume 2. Both pretty nice kits. They work together really well. So we're going to use a couple of pieces from both. Now we're just going to decide which one of these works. Do we want to use, I think this is the one. Yeah, the lines look really nice, clean, and it sort of has that kind of mix between 80s and 2000s kind of line that I like to kind of play around with. That whole 80s, 90s, 2000s. I think all that looks nice, and I think it's really just about organizing these little dots. Gosh, if I could get a hold of them, and just kind of finessing them, making them kind of look like they're in the right place. I think something like that's looking nice. Cool. All right, so now we are working with some little cassettes. We're gonna put together an illustration similar to the Scavenger piece. We're just kind of working with that. I'm still playing with that font right now, but we'll switch out that font. For now, we're kind of playing around with the illustration. All right, I think the cassettes are starting to fill in. Yeah, that's right. That's looking good. Nice and comfy in there. Let's pull a few little pieces out of here. Maybe these little stars, or I've got so many little objects that we can choose from. Maybe we'll fill in floral. Let's grab a bunch of these. Maybe these. We'll grab those, and these, and that, and this, and those, and yeah, we'll just grab a bunch of stuff and see what fits. All right, so we'll scale it all down, and we'll see what works. I think we got a bunch of them, but I think this one just screams, yep, that's exactly what we need. It kind of has this like, dead tree mixed with like a cassette tape that's come unwound. So it looks like maybe it's cassette tape is wound up in a dead tree. It has the feeling of, decay and abandonment. It has that sort of old, vintage retro kind of look. It has, I like that. So we're just kind of playing around with the placement at this point, seeing what works. I think something like that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and stereo star, something like that's pretty cool. We're gonna drop in my little vector guy here and kind of scale him down some, and just get the placement feeling right. I think something like that's looking pretty cool. And let's kind of turn on an outline, that way get a nice black outline or white outline. And it's not gonna be super noticeable, but it's gonna kind of help separate him from like the cassettes behind him and different things like that. So nice little simple piece, simple. And that works. Cool. All right, so that works. And let's grab these little stars. I've been eyeing these stars, knowing I was going to use them on something. So let's do that. Let's bring them right over here, scale them down some, and we are really starting to shape up. This piece is really coming together. It feels like some type of mid to late 2000s t-shirt graphic. I'm a fan. This is what I was hoping to accomplish. Sometimes you start designing something and it works, sometimes it doesn't. This one works. So just kind of, once again, playing with some of that grit, really adding that staple kind of grunge kind of feel. That's a big part of this style. So you want it to be grungy, but you don't want it to be so over the top that it's illegible. So yeah, just kind of getting it all feeling right. I'd say we're working with what we need at this point. We'll turn down the opacity on that, drop it all the way down, throw it in the back, and kind of just get it feeling nice and comfy there. Pretty happy with the overall placement on these pieces. And now it's time to play with that font. So we'll go ahead and switch that out. That is Coolvetica. That's what we're going to be using today. And we'll go ahead and get this cool little star down here. And we'll finesse it just a bit, get it feeling nice and comfy in there. Maybe scale it up just a bit. I like the way the points are kind of, nice and it's tight. Kerning's not super tight like we did on Arial, but it's working for me. So we'll put a little, maybe a little bit of grunge back there. And we can do something with the font. So let's convert to outlines, create outlines. Go ahead and copy this one, throw a stroke on it, and there we are already working with that vibe somewhere between the Y2K aesthetic and the 2000s Frutiger Metro aesthetic. All these terms that are very new to me, but still fun to play with. It's cool. We got categories for all this stuff that used to just be, grunge design. Now it actually has names and stuff, so that's pretty tight. Overall, I think placement is looking good on this. Can't think of much more that we would do besides add some color. Pretty happy with that one. Last one today, Dreamland. So fun little piece that we have there, but let's go ahead and take it apart and do something else with it. So let's go ahead, roller girl. We're gonna have a nice little kind of a roller derby type design. So maybe we'll get roller and girl on two separate pieces. I like that way the R and the L are working together there, kind of a mirror effect. So let's scale down these little lines, kind of adding in some extra, just trying to make it feel like as natural with the font as possible. And at this point, let's bring this roller girl down some. I don't know, bring her over here. Let's convert to outlines and start filling in. This takes a little bit of time to get this whole thing done. Makes my arm ache kind of going back and forth, but it's worthwhile to kind of just go through and get all these individual pieces using the object creation. It's kind of selecting little things that we want to turn into actual vector shapes. Pretty neat little tool here. So now that we have that filled in, let's go in one more time. This always gives my arm such an ache, but it's totally worth it because now that we have total control over the filling inside of these letters, we can kind of when it comes to coloring really do something effective. So that's very important. It just takes a little bit of time to get all these things repetitive and not a fun little thing. But as soon as we get this done, we're gonna have something looking really good and totally have control over the color. So I won't be doing the color on screen today, but you'll get an idea of it's set up ready for color. So that's the important part. All right, so there we go. Finally, all the pieces are filled in. So let's start kind of playing around with our overall composition. I like the way she's kind of fitting in between the text and stuff. Maybe we can pull a little star out from our superstar guy and play around with some little ideas here. Let's kind of scale it down some, put it right there on the helmet. Nice, placement's looking good. Let's cover up that little shape there. All right, cool. And we're just about finding the right places to put our little stars, decorating it the right way, and we'll add some little florals and stuff like that too. Don't think we're going to do too much with the radial stuff today, but that's fine. We don't always have to do that. Sometimes it can just be other elements, other little shapes. So that's the idea for today. I'm feeling like these are some pretty nice little comfy pieces that we've created, and yeah, overall, not sure if we're going to use this, but let's pull this piece. A lot of florals. Might be a little too much detail, but we could probably turn some of the whites to black and kind of get more of like a silhouetted kind of look, similar to our roller girl here. So maybe we'll try something like that. Let's go ahead and push this all the way to the back behind everything else. Something like that. Still feeling really busy, so let's cut a few of these little pieces. Still illegible, so there are ways that we can fix that. And one way is by putting a big, thick black outline on our text. And I think that's going to be exactly what we need. Takes a little bit of finessing, but I think that looks about right. And now let's just, once again, grunge it up a little bit. Really stick with that signature style. So a little bit of grunge. We're not going to go too over the top, but a little bit of something there. That ought to work. And I'm feeling pretty comfy with that. Looking pretty good overall. Just getting those last little pieces in place. copy that and bring it right over there. All right, feeling good about that one. Nice. All right, and that wraps us up for today. Once again, thank you all so much for tuning in. Shout out to all of my patrons for making what I do possible. Guys, I kind of fell off with the tutorials in 2024, but 2025, we're back. We got best free fonts, some other fun tutorials on the way, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and tune in. If you've been following along with me on screen, using some of the assets, make sure to hop on the Discord, share what you've been working on. The deadline for the Vondel 2000 Mixtape Volume 4 and 5, February 21st. Join us in the mix. With all that being said, looking forward to talking to you on my server, and I will catch you in my next video. Thank you all so much.